And it has begun. Welcome to Kung Fu Habit number 2. This is part 3 of Bound Fighting in the martial arts. Alright, Instagram's still with me. So, here's how this works. Capoeira works on your Jinga. Drunken Master works on your Sway. Now, do not confuse Drunken Master with Drunken Monkey. They are completely two different styles, but basically, if you know anything about the animal styles are from ancient martial artists who went out and studied animals and incorporated their movements into martial arts styles. Alright? That's how you have the snake, the crane, the tiger, the dragon, and the mantis. You know, that's how you have them. There's a couple of more animal styles. You have the eagle claw, and you have other minor little things. You know, and you have the dragon that's supposed to be the most powerful, but no one understands how dragon works because no one actually watched the dragon train. And if they did, then it must have been those martial arts that spawned all Kung Fu. But we're not going to go there because supposedly Kung Fu came out of India, and Hinduism doesn't have much on dragons that I know of. And I could be wrong. So if you do Hindu, let me know if there's any stories about any Hindu dragons. Alright? Will you please be quiet? I'm probably the only entertainment you've had today. Anyway, moving on. So, capoeira. I did a video about capoeira a few weeks ago about your 3 Jingas. Now, a capoeira person will probably get on this motherfucker and tell you guys that I'm full of shit. But let's talk about body mechanics while we're talking about these Jingas. Alright? This is why I said there's 3 Jingas to whatever capoeira motherfucker that I'm going to piss off. Alright? I have limited hip motion, which limits me from doing a full-on Jinga, which is mid-grade to low-grade. So I have to modify my shit. As anyone learning in martial art must learn that you have to modify your martial arts towards your body mechanics. So the actual Jinga is way down here. You know, my hands are tied, so this is how I have to block. Windshield wiper. Alright? Now, high-range Jinga, because I have no lower body ability, is up here. You have to work your body mechanics. Now, super low range, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Then you have to understand how to work out of that into a move. Boom. Wheel kick. I understand how hard that is with my hands tied, where my fingertips are just barely touching the floor. When you can do capoeira, your hands can touch the floor and you can spin off the balls in the palms of your hands. That is for you guys who have cords. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. The back flip kick. I can't do that. There's a ceiling here. I also am not legally allowed to bust back flips because of my hip. So, but when you Jinga, boom, 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 boom. Now, my hands are tied, so that makes the option a little bit more difficult. So yes, you can Jinga and capoeira with your hands tied. That cartwheel kick is not going to happen for me, but it can happen with a capoeira expert if they practice with their hands tied. And just for the record, in case you guys don't know, and some of you fuckers that do capoeira do know, just aren't sharing. Officially, capoeira first started in chains, with their hands tied. Which is why they have so much acrobatics, which is why they have such good butterfly kicks, which is why when they come out of a Jinga and they go here and go into a butterfly kick and a wheel kick, their hands were tied. Fun fact, read about your martial art. You can do Jinga with your hands tied. You can do a front wheel kick, a cartwheel kick, and a backflip kick with your hands tied because the slaves that invented this shit did that. James can't do that, he's in the house. Okay? Then also, I'm old. But if you gotta do capoeira, know your range of motion. Foot sweep. Foot sweep. You know, Jinga, Jinga. Foot sweep. Now, that could be turned into a wheel kick or a cartwheel kick. Again, low ceiling. Not the best idea. You can do the pancake with the layback, kick up. You know, a lot of things you can do. These guys did it with their hands tied. So yeah, you can do capoeira with your hands tied. You can do Drunken Master with your hands tied. Drunken Snake, Drunken Crane, Drunken mantis, drunken tiger, drunken dragon. You know, block, strike, block. So you have to understand how this thing works. If you don't understand how this works, you're going to be in deep, deep trouble. Now, what are you not going to do when your hands are tied with martial arts? Everything that I basically just showed you. You're not going to do because you've lost focus on your opponent. So you're just going to keep it simple for capoeira. Boom. Get your Jenga. Boom. Push kick. Kick the dog cage. Boom. Boom. You'll figure it out, but only if you're doing capoeira greatly, which I'm not doing capoeira greatly, as you can see. I am totally butchering this shit. Just trying to keep my bindings together. Now, other martial arts that you can do drunk or with your hands tied, you have to understand your boundings are not just your enemy, but they are your friend. You have to be able to learn how to use them in combat. Alright? So if you're going snake, my beak should be open so that if I strike, I can pull you. And if I can wrap around your arm with my boundings, getting you tied in that knot, now I can jerk you around. As I jerk you around, bam! As I jerk you back around, bam! You know, I'm spinning you around. I have your arm locked between mine. So we're in a clusterfuck. So I need to take advantage while you're one arm down. So I'm going to take your arm, spin you this way, and I'm going to knee you in the face. If I can get your arm between my leg and your arm, I'm going to break your elbow. Then I'm going to release it. Now, I'm still bound. You're one weapon down. Understand how that works. So you have to learn how to use these as weapons. And I want to finish this off with that because this dog is pissing me off. And if it keeps messing with me, I'm going to choke it with these. Now, in any fight, using your hands that are bound, the best thing for you to do is be able to get this here on your opponent. Alright? So if you get behind them and you're choking them, which means you're over their neck and you're choking them against your back of your chest or whatever you have, and you're locking your hands. So you're like this on their neck. Now you're lifting up because it's going to cut off the circulation of air. And you want to do that until they pass out. You don't want to kill them, but you want to do that. And while you're back there, while you're over their shoulders, you want your knees in their back, especially if they're bigger than you. You want to put this knee or this knee somewhere in the lower lumbar or up in the center of the shoulder blades. I'm short, so I'm going for your shoulder blades. Why am I going for your shoulder blades? Because I probably had to jump up to wrap this bitch around your fucking neck. Alright? Let me explain that before I end this video. Alright? Matter of fact, let me start... Oh, shit. Let me start the unraveling process while I'm talking. Now, as I told you guys before, and if you are new here, you haven't heard the story, but I'm going to give you the long and short. I got handcuffed for driving a stolen car, and I threatened to choke a dude with his handcuffs, because those bracelets were the newfangled police bracelets, not the ones that had, like, leeway. They were straight locked up bracelets. So if you were ever in those handcuffs, you weren't going anywhere. Now, the difference was that the lovely Albemarle County officer handcuffed me like this, and the guy wouldn't shut the fuck up. So I was going to take my handcuffs and catch him in the throat. Now, I know how to use my hands when they're tied. The average American probably can't. The average soldier probably can't. Because the average person who takes a martial art has not come across a teachers like mine who say, well, let's work out this scenario. How would this happen? How would you handle this if your hands were tied? Teachers don't do that shit these days. Now everybody's concerned about that money and giving you pissy Andy shit where 30% of what you've learned in your dojo, and I'm talking to every last one of you, especially all you guys who are hating on me right now and thinking that I'm full of shit, 30% of the shit you know ain't gonna work outside that dojo. If you're a sports karate guy, yeah, it's gonna work in the MMA field. Yeah, it's gonna work in the UFC. Guarantee it may work on the street on somebody who has no fighting experience. It will work on the street on somebody who has minimum fighting experience. Because, one, you're a fucking paid prize fighter. You're probably going to beat the fuck out of somebody on the street unless that person on the street has been fighting all their fucking life on the streets. The streets is their oyster. So all the shit that you know, good for you, until you come against the guy who knows a little bit more. Who knows how to take their tied hands and beat the shit out of you while their hands are tied. I.e., don't fuck with me. Alright. Now, this thing on your neck, as a weapon, I'm going to cut off the air. This thing around your hands gives me the advantage. This thing around my hands puts my ass in survival mode because I'm going to do everything I can to get free. And if I have to break your neck to get free by wrapping these things around your throat, that's what I'm going to do. The long and short is the guy kept running his mouth and I had handcuffs on that I had no leeway. And the officer told me to stop threatening him. And I said, hey, if I'm going to jail, you already got me handcuffed, but you don't know who the fuck I am. I do kung fu. These handcuffs are weapons. I'm going to take these handcuffs through his fucking throat. Then they sent him away. They had already locked the brother up who broke his hand on my face and cut my eye and broke my glasses in the exact fucking same spot that I fucked my eye up when I was fucking 5 years old thinking that I could fly. That's the long and short. Knowing that when you leave a dojo, that 30% of what you can use in the dojo works on the street is bad. It's bad. I'm sorry. It's the truth, but it's bad. If you don't go to a neighborhood where you have to fight people every day just to get the fuck home, 30%. If you're going to a beautiful 4-bedroom spacious home where there's nobody on the street threatening your life every fucking day, 30%. And I'm not talking about the warm-ups and the calisthenics. I'm not talking about the push-ups and shit. I'm talking about boom, front punch, boom, boom, boom. And yes, that was a kick. But that shit there is going to work. Grab, lock, twist, pull, that shit's going to work. But when you start breaking into, you're going to die. That person you throws that kick, if you miss, or better yet, if you hit them and it does not hurt them, you are fucked. If you've never jump spin kicked somebody and they brush that shit off, you were fucked. I have jump spin kicked somebody when they were high. They brushed that shit off. Luckily for me, I also then turned around and front kicked them in the sternum. If a person cannot breathe, it doesn't matter if they're fucking high, it doesn't matter if they're 6'2" or 6'5", if you can't breathe, I win. So your neck and your sternum, your elbows and your knees are my targets. Why are they my targets? Because when you're in karate class, backstep block, forward punch, horse stance, punch, yeah, punch, yeah, block, yeah. And when the fuck are you going to break down in the street and do that? Never. Because the second you get into the streets and you get to fighting, it's all about this game right here. It's all about bobbing on those toes and heels. You know, it's all about jab, jab, strike, switch up, jab, jab, strike. Those are what work. And every now and again, jab, jab, boom. You know, you're going to throw a kick in there. Basics work. When you start getting fancy, you start getting complacent, you start getting fucked up. 20% of the shit that I just showed ain't going to help you. And that would be this. Ha! 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 Why is it not going to work? Because the second someone sees you breaking into a martial arts stand, they already got you red, bad, and tattooed, glued, you're screwed. Understand that I know that this block here is for a hammer fist. I know not to use the hammer fist because you're going to block it, elbow me, back fist, block it, elbow me, pull my hair, bam, knee to the face. I know what I'm doing. So if you're going to learn some shit, then the first thing you need to learn is 30% of the shit that you learn in that dojo. If you're not a professional fighter, Only 30% of that shit in the dojo is going to work for you. If you are a professional fighter, 70% of that shit you learned in the dojo will still only work in the dojo. But 45% of that shit will work in the ring, and about 49% in the street. Why did I say 49? Because in the streets, you will be amazed at the shit that people will pull out of their ass to survive a fight. Sticks with nails in it, fucking glass pop bottles, iron pipes, big wooden fucking sticks, 2x4s. If you haven't been in a fight where people have brought them into the fucking fight, you have not been in a fight. Alright? You think that shit's just for wrestling where people bring chairs and shit? No. You go live in any projects in America and someone gets a rumble going, you're going to be surprised at the trash cans. They're not going to have tacks in it like the WWE or Impact or any of that shit. Granted, I don't think we knew about thumbtacks back in the 80s. But I can tell you, honest and true to God, there will be a 2x4 in there. That 2x4 may have a nail in it. It may have glass attached to the damn 2x4, like picked in there. So if you haven't been in one of those type of fights, 30%. 30 fucking percent. I have been in a fight where someone has actually bought an iron pipe. I have been in a fight where I picked up an iron pipe and they had a 2x4. I have been in a fight where someone has bought a stick with a nail in it. And not a 2x4, but a plain old fucking wooden piece of stick that they literally put a nail in. Okay? Some people have bought 2x4s with nails in it. So you haven't been in one of those fights. And no, that's not happened in just New York. That's happened here for me in Charlottesville at West Haven. Alright? So if you haven't been in a fight where someone has brought some shit like that to a fight, you know, broken glass bottles and shit that they see on TV, they bring shit like that to real fights in the streets. So if you haven't been in those kind of fights, don't judge me for telling you the fucking truth. That 30% of that shit that you learn in the dojo, when you walking around with that black belt, I'm a black belt, I can break a brick, hee-yah! I'm a black belt, I can break a board, hee-yah! Well, here's the thing about that. A brick and a board don't fucking fight back. But when you swing at a human being, who also has a weapon in their hand, who also has the capability that they don't need the weapon, but they can fight back, 30% of the shit that you've learned sitting here for 2 months, 30% of that shit's gonna work. And 9 times out of 10, a good run is better than a bad stand. But also, if you got nowhere to run, then your ass better be able to take a beating as good as you can give one. So when people ask me, is it better to be tougher than stronger? The answer is always yes. Because you got to be tough enough to survive an ass whooping. You ain't got to be tough to give one. But you got to be tough enough to survive one. So again, yeah, I've been training since I was 12 years old with my hands tied. But I've been fighting in the streets since I was 6 until I was 12. Now, last street fights I had was at the age of 15. And that was all 1 week minus Wednesday. Then I hadn't gotten to another fight in a long time. And then I got my eye jacked by some asshole whose car was stolen that I was driving. You gotta understand what works. If you haven't been in a fight in a while, you don't know if you can still take a hit. That very night, I didn't know I could still take a fucking hit to the face. I really didn't. Because I hadn't been in a fight in so long. But when I got hit in the face the first time, it kind of pissed me off. But it didn't piss me off because I was kind of in shock. There's some guy came to a van, like that, skipped right up to the window, right in the face, cut my eye, broke my glasses. And then he hit me again. Right there, warrior mode kicked in. And this thing called a seatbelt was double locked on me. I couldn't get out that bitch. And when I couldn't get out, the cop was sitting on me. After the cop explained everything, I gave him my hands. I'm sitting on the bar. This guy's fucking arguing with me about the car that I didn't steal. And I got handcuffs. And I'm threatening to wring these handcuffs through his fucking neck. And then I'm going to kill his brother. And then I'm going to kill my cousin who got me into this shit in the first place. So again, 30% of that shit that you learn in the dojo is just that. Shit. Because that 30% that works only works outside the dojo. That 70% that works in the dojo works in the dojo, not outside. And here's the thing. I'm going to piss everybody off now before I go. I'm not a BJJ expert. I had this much BJJ training in the Army. This much, so that you guys can see it. See it? That much. But what I did learn during my training is that BJJ is most effective if I'm on my back and you're on top mount, full guard, or side mount. Good luck at getting there. Good luck at getting there. Because if you rely too much on one style or another, you're going to get fucked. I rely on everything that I know, and especially my go-to moves. You're going to sprawl, you're going to get a knee to the face. You're coming in for a double leg, you're going to get a knee to the face. You're coming in and I can't stop the double leg, you're going to get an elbow in the spine. Is it legal? Fuck no, it's not legal. In the street fighting world, everything is legal. In the UFC, that shit's illegal. But I'm not going to let you dump me. Period. You're coming in to scoop me up, you're getting elbowed right between your collarbones. Or your shoulder blades. Whichever one I can reach first. Because if you're stronger than me, I'm not going to be able to stop you. I know that much is fact. But if I'm smarter than you, I can stop you. Because when you go down, most people when they tuck you, because they're right-handed, so they're going to be right here, and their head's going to be here. I'm going to take this knee, and if we're already rolling, I'm going to take this knee, and I'm going to body slam your shit. Really simple. I'm going to just use plain old judo, and I'm just going to roll you right on over. And then I'm going to be on top mount. Period. Now, in the event that it's a street fight versus a UFC fight, as soon as you come in for the tackle, these knees and these elbows are cutting you right here and right in there. Because I'm going to stop you before you hurt me. And if a person can't breathe because I need them in their fucking lungs, I'm going to win. Understand how this works? I probably have pissed off a lot of people who do BJJ, and they're going to say, no, James, no. If I sprawl on you, I got you dead to rights. Only if your sprawl can get me down. But you fail to understand the thing about a sprawl. You have to be close enough to get me. Kung Fu Wing Chun is not going to let you get that close. Low kick, front kick, high kick. I'm controlling the distance. As long as I'm controlling the distance and you're fighting my fight, this fight's mine. I'm not going to be stupid enough to let you get me on the ground so that I have to fight your fight. As long as you make somebody that you're fighting fight your fight, victory is assured unless, and I strongly suggest unless, you yourself can't fight. And if you can't fight, I'm sorry, you're fucked. I'm going to be honest, you're fucked. A lot of people who teach martial artists, they don't tell them that. If this is day one, week one, and you're like 6 years old, fighting's not your thing. You don't know about fighting. You're not going to know about fighting until some asshole that's a 6-year-old with a fucking ego problem decides, hey, I'm going to fuck you up. Then you're going to understand what fighting really is. With gloves. Now, to say you meet this 6-year-old in the streets and you're both 6 years old and y'all just don't like each other, then you're going to understand what fighting really fucking is. Understand how that worked? In the dojo, your teachers are not going to let you guys fight. You might get some freestyle sparring in, but they're not going to let you fight. But if you're going against somebody and you bruise their ego in class, they're going to try to hurt you outside of class. You need to be prepared for that, which goes back to that 30%. If you don't think that I'm telling you the truth, go take a year. Go learn any martial art in a year, and don't quote me on this, go get into a fight. Now, notice I said go get into a fight. I didn't say go start a fight. Go get into a fight. See what you know. See what works. Try getting jumped on your job. Because if you count that, that was one of my last fights when I got jumped on my job by 2 white cats. Because one of them put me in a fucking bear hug while the other one was talking shit. And when I flipped the guy and I elbowed him in his sternum and I come up off of him and I was getting ready to drive my fist through his face, but his girlfriend got in the way. Go learn some shit. And then get into a fight. And you see if I'm wrong about that 30% versus that 70%. Because I promise you, if you're not a professional fighter, 70% only works in a dojo. 30% when you walk out that dojo life. When you walk home at night after learning martial arts, that's when you're going to learn. When you walk home on that night that somebody's having a bad day and they won't let you go home. That's when you're going to learn. Am I good? Or am I just good in the class? Because there are a lot of martial artists that are just good in the class. Understand how this works. I'm not going to lie to you. I sucked in class. Know why I sucked in class? Because I came in already knowing a different martial art. Learning Taekwondo. Mr. Ennis hated my fucking guts when it came to what I knew versus what he was teaching. Alright? Now I get it. He's the teacher. I'm the student. I'm supposed to follow him. But this is the problem, and I'm going to end this video after this. You can't untrain me. Understand that. So if you're taking Taekwondo from the age of 4 to 24, that is 20 years of Taekwondo that I can't untrain you in and start teaching you Wing Chun. I have to start from the level that you are on to teach you Wing Chun. Even if I have to cut it down and make it look like it's old school basics, you know, boom, 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 boom. I ain't got to teach you that. You already know that because you're taking Taekwondo. Block, strike, block, strike. Now you just have to elevate your blocks and strikes from up here to down here and to down here. Now if I take you from Taekwondo to animal style, like the snake or the mantis, everything that you learned kick-wise, you're going to keep those kicks. They're not going to be praying mantis kicks because your mind's not going to let that happen. Your body's not going to let that happen. It took me forever to adjust my kicks to Taekwondo kicks. And now my body uses what works. My go-to moves always come back. Bad habit, yes. But sometimes bad habits actually fucking work. So again, as I end this, 30% of what you have learned in that dojo is going to work in the streets. That other 70%, it's going to only work in the dojo. I'm sorry. Anyone who wants to contest that, that's fine. I'm not going to debate it with you. I'm going to tell you one more time. Go take a year of a martial art. Go get into a fight. See what you can apply. See what you have to adapt to. And see if your go-to moves come back. I can't untrain you. If I'm giving you kung fu lessons and you go to another guy, but you've been with me for 20 years, and you go to another guy who's teaching you karate, similar art, similar name of kicks, but you can't be untrained from Wing Chun to do Okinawa karate. You just have to start Okinawa karate, but your teacher has to teach you from the level that you are at. And every school to the day I die will never do that. Because everybody wants you to come in and start all over again and again. And I'm sorry to any senseis out there, any sifus or shidoshis or maestres or whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. It's bullshit. You can't untrain me. You can only enhance my training. You can't untrain what I already know. You can't untrain my go-to moves. You can't untrain anything that I've done. You can't untrain my fighting experience. So what are we doing? Are we going to go back to day one, level one, because this is your school and this is how you run it? Of course, because that's what teachers do. They don't go, hey, how much martial arts experience you had? So you've been training since you were 7, you're 47 now. What's your belt ranking? Oh, you don't have a belt ranking. Well, let's see, 40 years or 20 some odd years of this, because like I said, I've been training since I was 7. I'm 47 now, so that gives me a good 40 years of this shit. How are you going to take 40 years of my fighting experience and the shit that I learned out of my body, out of my mind, out of my soul, and start me all over from day one? You can't. It's not possible. Unless I fucking have amnesia, it's not going to happen. Which goes back to 30%. Thank you guys for watching. I got to go charge this phone. I will be back later, I promise, but it will only be a prep show and everything else will be on YouTube. So, thanks for watching. YouTube, this is Kung Fu Epic number 2, BC and U. It's 28 minutes of your life that you can't get back.